Hello everyone. In this video, I want to share with you about some of the things that have been happening in the world and their application with biblical prophecy. Many of you have seen this scene that has been on the news that has sparked outrage among Christian groups and the representation of the Last Supper of Jesus in a mocking way. And people are calling it blasphemous. Like this news says, Paris Olympics faces outrage over hypersexualized and blasphemous drag act with child. And the Bible in 2 Timothy 3 tells us that in the last days perilous times shall come, for men shall be lovers of themselves, covetous, boasters, proud, blasphemers. We have been sharing with you about the testimony of the heavenly sign that the Lord prophesied that will come before his coming, the sign of the Son of Man. And we have shared with you how this sign finished forming on May 28 this year. And after that, a period of 372 days began in which this letter right here, the mu letter, representing the Holy Spirit, is to do a work on the earth, but at the same time, a counter spirit, the spirit of the enemy, is also doing a intense work on the earth. We have shared with you how the Lord has revealed through the constellation of Orion, as the hand of Orion is raised towards the ecliptic, the interpretation and understanding of the plagues clock, the clock that shows the timing of the fulfillment of the plagues of Revelation 16. Now, you may want to ask yourself, why do we look at the constellation of Orion? What is so special about it? The Bible tells us in Amos 5:8, seek him that maketh the seven stars in Orion, that turneth the shadow of death into the morning, and maketh the day dark with night, that calleth for the waters of the sea, and poureth them out upon the face of the earth. The Lord is his name. So the Bible has reference to Orion, and also in Hebrews 12:25 it says, see that ye refuse not him that speaketh, for if they escape not who refused him that spake on earth, much more shall not we escape, if we turn away from him that speaketh from heaven. The Lord is speaking from heaven. And this program, Stellarium, we can use to see the movements of the heavenly bodies that Jesus said that we should look up when our redemption draweth nigh. And when we see what is happening in the world, we should ask ourselves what the significance of those things. So on our website, bycloudfarm.org, we have been publishing a lot of videos, sermons and videos that explain the significance of the events that are happening in the world, like the attempted assassination of Donald Trump and how it's connected to a false revival. And recently we published this one about the fall of financial Babylon in connection with this horrible Friday in the finances. And we explain there the relation to Revelation 18. And in sermons, we have shared the connection of what is happening in the world, like in Europe with the protests that are going on in different areas of Europe, and how they apply to the understanding of the plagues. Now, in particular, the Lord has shown how this constellation of Orion, like I mentioned, is key for the understanding of his prophetic word. And Revelation 1:20 says, the mystery of the seventh star, which thou sawest in my right hand. This seven stars in the right hand is represented here. This right here is the raised right hand of Orion, and Orion represents Jesus. His right hand is reaching up to the ecliptic, and on the ecliptic we see the planets going through, and as they go through, they go towards the hand of Orion. Do it in a backwards way. You see the planets going towards the hands of Orion. And we have shared how in June 15th, you see that there's the Sun, Mercury, and Venus. The period of the plagues clock began, and we have shared the fulfillment of how, and these different dates when the planets went through this area of the hand of Orion, how it applied to biblical prophecy in connection to the verses in Revelation 16. And it's important to understand that because we're not just looking at the heavens randomly guessing, but we're using God's clock because the Orion constellation is a clock. And that clock shows us the time that God has specified, because in the Bible, also in the book of Isaiah, says that, no, in the book of Psalms, first, I wanted to share with you that it says, the heavens declare the glory of God, and the firmament showeth his handiwork. So the glory of God is Jesus and his love and his demonstration of God's infinite love towards humanity when he came and died on the cross. And in the sign of the Son of Man, we see exactly that. It represents Jesus as his death on the cross, burial in this area, and resurrection. And the verse also says, and the firmament showeth his handiwork. Now, God is the creator of all things, but the Bible also teaches us that there will be a time when iniquity shall abound in such a way, and the cup of his wrath is full, and therefore he will do a work of destruction, like it says in Isaiah 28:21. For the Lord shall rise up as in Mount Perazim. He shall be wroth as in the valley of Gibeon, that he may do his work, his strange work, and bring to pass his act, his strange act. The Bible calls it a strange act because that is not the desire of God. And the Bible also tells us that he wishes that nobody perishes. And that's why in the book of Revelation and chapter 18, repeatedly it tells us that Babylon is falling, and Jesus says in verse 4, and I heard another voice from heaven saying, come out of her, my people, that ye be not partakers of her sins, and that ye receive not her plagues. For her sins have reached unto heaven, and God hath remembered her iniquities. So the Lord calls out his people to come out of Babylon. And in order to understand who Babylon is and how to come out, it's important that we understand the application of prophecy. And therefore, on our website, we have been sharing in these sermons all the information about what Babylon is and how it's exercising its power in the world, and the deception, the great deception that is happening. So we want to invite you to come and to watch the sermons and to watch the videos that we publish, to join our Telegram channel so that you can be notified when we publish new videos, so that you can be informed, because things will continue to develop, and the Lord wants us to be ready. And during this time, as I mentioned before, this 372 days up to June 4th is a time when the Holy Spirit is to do a mighty work. And the Bible tells us the Holy Spirit brings knowledge of the truth and tells us the things that are to happen. So we want to invite you to come and to learn the revelation that the Spirit is given and is signed with his own signatures. This is the mu, Greek mu letter that represents water and represents the Holy Spirit. There's a lot of symbolism involved, and we want to invite you to come and to learn and to understand the revelations. Now, this letter is being drawn by a special comet. It's the second largest comet that has been discovered. It was in the news, and we recognize that the path of the comet was at this area at the midnight hour of the horologium constellation on March 4th and 5th. And the comet went to this area on March 12th. And from that time on, the sign of the Son, that was in 2023, and from that time on, the sign of the Son of Man began to form, and it formed the letter, first the letter omega and the Greek, and then completed in this way the letter mu. And the comet has a very special role in the plagues clock as well. And that wanted to mention it before I finish the video because on July 13, whenever the assassination attempt happened with Donald Trump, like I said in the news, that he was struck by a bullet assassination attempt. On that precise day, the comet reached the line of the hand of Orion. And we published a video explaining the significance in connection to the fourth plague. So I want to invite you to watch that. And then on July 27th, 26th, 27th, the comet reached the other line. And that's exactly the time when this opening ceremony of the Olympics was taking place. And that fulfilled the part of the verse of the fourth plague that says, right here, that says, and blasphemed the God of heaven because of their pain and their sores, and repented not of their deeds. So there was a blasphemy going on that day, and they were blaspheming the God of heaven, who is showing through his revelation in the heavenly canvas that this is the time of his wrath, the day of wrath, the year of vengeance. And so we want to invite you to come and to learn with us, to ask us questions about what you watch, and to participate. Maybe you can share with us observations of what you are learning from what we share, and so that we can all be together into the ark of safety for this time, because this is what God has provided for our sustenance at this time. Because it is the sign of the Son of Man, and I always like to say it many, many times because it really shows us Jesus. It shows us his whole life. It shows us his sacrifice. It shows us his love for us. And so when we look at the sign, we see Jesus. It's not just a sign in the heavens that is randomly put there, but it shows us the beautiful story of salvation. So when we look at the sign, it's not necessarily just connecting points about, oh, this constellation means this or that, but it's a whole story that the Lord is showing to remind us of his love. And Jesus said that he will be with us until the end of time. And he is fulfilling that promise. And we want to invite you to come and to learn with us, like I said many times already. So be blessed. And I hope that this video is encouraging to you.